Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Really made me think that, as. Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today, I'm absolutely buzzing about this because I got my mate on, and it's a special episode. Do you know why? It's the first hat trick on the bus.
Yes.
A hat trick of podcast. So welcome aboard, Jordan from Benefit Martial Arts.
Woo.
Yeah. Mate, first hat trick.
First hat trick. I feel honoured.
I think we could do 100 podcasts for the amount of conversations we have. We do voice notes and they just go on and on and on. And like then, I said, right, I've just got to let this upload. Actually, no, we'll do the podcast. Then we end up having a massive chat where the upload could have happened. So I would like you to be the in-house guest if you're up for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I never get bored of you. I love your smile.
Yeah.
I love who you are.
Ah, thank you.
What do you think the last one was that we did together? Was that you're just getting a business?
I think so, yeah. I think it was...
you bought it, hadn't you?
Yeah, it was like... I think it was near Christmas, like winter time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we literally was
I
in
had
there
a
for
big
like a
jumper on
month
in,
or something like that. That we'd literally moved into our place and...
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll just do a little bit around that. I know we've got ideas of where we might go on this podcast today.
Yep.
Some veganism, you've been to an awesome festival. But business chat, I bet we've been in a similar trajectory, really. Like, while we were both meeting, we'd been running business to a degree, but it was more like parties, and it was just glorified parties, really.
Yeah.
But now it feels a bit more serious. Like, we're working with the kids, we're doing similar stuff, and it's become a bit more, real life.
Yeah.
So, what's your journey been?
It's been interesting, to be fair, because I feel like when I was on last time was when it was all like exciting. I was just kind of 100 mile an hour. We're getting this dojo, we're getting it like kitted out, we're getting these people in as fast as possible, and it was very fast, and it was kind of goal driven, and it was kind of, backs against the wall, we need to make this work kind of attitude to it. And we did it, and it was great, and we've just gone from strength to strength. We've had incredible amount of issues and problems, the roof leaking about 70 times, dealing with the landlord as well. Like, luckily he's been sound like sorting it out, but it's just getting him to do it.
It's a big building as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a big building. The flooring, we like painted all the floors, so it was like horrible tiles before, painted them. They started coming off like a day after we painted them.
Oh,
You're like, fuck's sake. And then we're like, so we painted them again, and then we took some radiators off, and the plumber didn't cap it off, so then we had a massive leak. So they literally just covered the whole floor, like full on like leak, like not just like a little drip. It was like just a jet wash coming out of the pipe, flooded the whole carpet. It was just it was stress trying to sort that out just before class started.
Into the building.
Yeah. So I literally just finished teaching at a school, came in, I had like an hour before the next class came in, and I could just hear like a bit of a noise. Walk around the corner. If you look on our social media, you'll see the video. Like, walk around the corner. It was literally
I'll put it in this video. I'll put a little video up.
Like, it was mental, stressful, and then obviously all the kids are like coming in, like ready for class, and I'm like, I need to sort this leak out. I need to teach the class, and I was on my own as well. It was mad. Luckily, the guys next door in the car wash, they came around. They was trying to help like block it off, and we had all that.
Did
kind
you
of issues.
Carry out a session?
Yeah. Just carried on like this. Just got to go into teaching mode. Thanked them for the patience. Kind of made them to put the shoes on when they went to the toilet.
What was that from? Was it just frozen? Split?
No. So we had. So we took all the radiators off.
Yeah.
That was another issue. Winter came. We thought it was like a central heating system, like gas, but it wasn't. It was oil filled system.
Oh.
And I didn't know that. I should have done my due diligence when I walked around. There's like a tank in the next building along full of oil. So winter came. Obviously in the summer we didn't need it because it was hot. But winter came, stopped putting the heating on. One day stopped working. Come to the conclusion, it's ran out of oil. Fucking hell, that's mad. Like in winter when it was like -1 degrees.
Yeah.
So I managed to get an emergency oil delivery for like 400 quid, which was a lot of money. Like money I didn't really have. Put the heating on. Everything's fine and dandy. Brilliant. 2 weeks later, it's gone again. No way I've used up that amount of oil. Like, we put a lot in as well, and we used all the oil. There's no oil left in it, so like, geez, this is expensive. Which was
really,
it was mad. So I was like, I've just spent 400 quid in 2 weeks, and like now we're still back to the same position, no heating. So like,
was it on overnight all the time?
No, it was just on like obviously from like sort of 4 o'clock till like 9 o'clock, and God knows, I don't know. It was just a very, very old system though. Like
Right.
it was like condemned when we got this gas engineer, oil kind of specialist round or whatever. It was like, yeah, this ain't good. Like this needs changing. Like it needs upgrading. It's so old. Like it's not safe. Like to put the oil tank right next to this. If that blows up, this will blow the whole thing up. And it was like, great, thanks for telling me that now. So yeah, we had to like sort all that out. But obviously, while classes were still going on, it was like -1 in there, like 5 degrees in there. And the kids still like, I was like, parents, like, I'm dead sorry, we've got no heating. It's literally 5 degrees in here. It is freezing. I'm not joking, but there's like, yeah, we'll be fine. Like, get some coats on. So we're doing like classes with our coats on, and it's just a nice sort of feeling of togetherness. And
community.
The students are just like, yeah, tis what it is. We'll get on with it. All parents like freezing with coats on, watching. It was. I felt awful. I was just like, this is not what they signed up for when they thought it was going to get a new dojo. Like, sat there freezing.
Because you're a young man trying his best with this business sort of endeavour.
Yeah.
Did you find a lot of parents have been really helpful in trying to be as giving as possible to you?
Yeah, they have, to be fair. They're very, very understanding. Whether like, you know, they've like, I spoke on them t-shirts that got delivered. There was like 3-4 weeks late, which is, I feel awful. I'm like, oh, God, it's terrible. Like, and you're just in the middle, but they're just, yeah, they're understanding. Like, it's cool. Like, you know, it's not your fault kind of thing. So it's really helpful.
So in terms of business then, because I've been looking at it, and social media, if that's to go by, it does look such a great adventure. It looks so exciting. You've got, is it Nerf gun playing there as well?
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. If we're looking at a pie chart, which side of it has been more of the stuff I see on social media of laughing, community play, adventure, brilliance, and which side has been, oh, this is fucking hard?
It's hard to say really, because I feel the good stuff is worth more value. So it kind of, even though
attitude.
we might have had more things go wrong, but like 2 good things is better than like 10 bad things. Whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It evens it out that way. But it's probably, I don't know. It's sort of like in times they were just all bad, and there's so many times I just thought, I've just had enough. Like, this is just too much. Like, we had an issue with our electricity bill as well, where the landlord, it was there's 1 meter, but it was actually for all the 4 other businesses on site. But I was paying the bill for everybody.
Whoa.
And they never told me that. So then, like, we had to that issue of like trying to get back into the landlord's name, and then wanting a contract, and was getting like thousands.
What was that coming to? Yeah, a month if you don't.
Oh, we had like an £8,000 bill at one point.
£8,000.
Yeah.
We had a £2,000 a month bill, but
and you're just like,
£8
wow.
grand's kind of.
But they're just, because you want in the contract, they just like bumped up a ridiculous price. And when we rang them, it was like, oh yeah, we'll sort you out, kind of a deal. It was just kind of,
They were just begging that you'd keep paying.
Yeah, something like that. So we had to sort that out, and just liaising with people like that. We had and then another challenge. The summer came, and we only had 1 key for the main door. The landlord couldn't find the keys to the big sliding doors. So and all the other doors around the thing. So we finally got someone in to try and look at it. And all he did was get a crowbar and just opened up the sliding doors. Like, they've always been unlocked. They're just like wedged in or whatever. I'm like, God's sake. So like things like that were just mad. Replacing all the heating system with electric heating. When we did that started tripping out all the electric. And then there's like another guy who's using the garage now, like next behind my place. He was like using more electric, and then like the landlord had to really like pay loads to get all this electric properly fitted for different businesses. So just all these things like behind the scenes that no one sees.
You'd never have imagined.
And I didn't even think I was going to have to go through all that. But yeah, I did.
I bet you had in your head, I understand there's going to be bureaucratic elements of all this, and there's going to be admin and so many stuff I've got to get sorted, but these are all stuff way far from that parameter that you can imagine.
Yeah.
It's like, I know public liability, some of that, I get my taxes.
Yeah.
But then when you're thinking of the meters and everything else that goes along with it, was that the shock to the system then, where you thought, is this just going to keep accumulating problems to face all the time? And was that where you stopped being able to just showcase your passion and what you actually have the business for?
Pretty much, yeah. There's many times, like just before Christmas, I was just like, when is it going to end? Like the amount of time I said, like, when is this going to end? It was just problem after problem after problem. Like, we had a good month of where it was just like bad things were happening like constantly, and it was just like, I'm tired of fighting. Like, there was so many times where I felt that way. I was just like, I don't know if I've got it in me anymore. Like, you know, the first problem comes along, you're like, yeah, it's fine, we'll sort it. I'm very sort of like solution oriented. Bang, on to the next one. Then another one comes, yeah, this is wank, but yeah, whatever, carry on, next one. Another one comes in, oh, bloody hell. Like, then by the time you had the 4th or 5th problem, like, hit you, you're like, like, bloody hell, have we got like any energy left to like do it, kind of thing. It was challenging in that sense, definitely, but you know, touch wood would come out the other side now.
And before you had your own a dojo gym, that's it, isn't it? Is it a dojo?
Dojo Academy.
Dojo. Yeah.
Dojo's like this.
How's it spelled?
Dojo.
I thought there was an O at the start.
Ojo.
Dojo.
No,
okay,
dojo. Yeah. Dojo.
Before you had your own, you would be going into schools primarily. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
Ripley Junior School used to rent out.
And you go into facilities, teach it, and then you could go home, do your thing, do your passions, whatever you want to do in the day. Do you find you get that balance still, or is it all go to the business and then you realise there's so much else you've got to do, and it takes away a lot of your loves?
It can do, yeah, definitely. I go in there now, I think that needs sorting. Yeah, as soon as that, and I sort of have to like pull myself back a bit and think, well, look what's actually here. Like, I think actually this is pretty sick. Like, I've got my own place. Like, you know, there's things that need doing, but it's clean, it's tidy, it looks good. Like, people always say how good it is. It's not as bad as what I think. And then when I pull myself back and I get into that gratitude state, then I start thinking, actually, this is actually really good. Like, I need to not be so like always thinking about I need to improve
hypercritical.
Things. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do you find that takes some doing though? Is that a bit of a spiritual endeavour that you've got to go on?
Yeah.
To remember that gratitude.
Yeah, it's happened sort of recently, really, because I was always kind of looking what was next, how can I improve it, and I wasn't living in the moment enough, and I was scared about taking a step back because I was scared about losing it all. That was the biggest fear of like, if I chill out a little bit and don't maybe work as hard, this could all just go. Like, I could lose it all, even though that wouldn't happen. But like, that was a massive fear. That
neurosis for you.
Yeah. I was just like, but then now I've come to a place of, you know, I can go on holiday, and I've got a bit more of a balance back between myself of, it's going to be okay if I get back to that person tomorrow and not today, and kind of give myself a bit of time. And doing so just made me a lot happier and stuff like that. So.
How have you got to that point? Is it conversations you've had? Yeah,
so with my business coach, we have a call every week. So I pay him, and it's like a big investment. And because it's been like therapy the last couple of months, whereas it's not just about, you know, he can't help me grow the business all the time. I mean, like, it's not like we'll talk about. I mean, it's just about personal things. So like, whatever's going on from my personal life, how I'm feeling, and you'll say, well, let's explore it then. Why are you feeling this way? You're like, you know, why have we plateaued? Like, a certain amount of members, is it because you're not becoming the person that you need to be to get to the next level, and stuff like that? And you just talking with him about why I feel the way I feel, and it's just opens up generally, really. It's incredible.
How did you find a business coach that fit your needs? Because he sounds quite switched on, in tune, and I'll say the word spiritual. Is that because I can imagine a lot of business coaches in my mindset are very just goal orientated, what you were talking about before.
Yeah.
But he sounds very an anomaly in business coaching.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, yeah, there's lots of business coaches out there who are 100% no excuses, you get it done. And I was always fearful of getting a business coach for that reason, due to my Crohn's disease, which, you know, has an effect on me, makes me more tired than other people, and stuff like that. And I was worried that if they're saying I need to do it and then I don't do it, are they actually going to have the understanding and empathy to think, oh, he's got Crohn's disease, that's fine. Massive fear. And there's people out there who are like all or nothing, 100%, no excuses. But then, this other guy was just chat with him, like, you kind of get a bit of a feel for them, and just spoke about, you know, if it knows when to like push me and it knows when to not push me, which is a great skill, I think, to have. And I think he does it very well. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Yeah, it was just out there and got chatting with him.
So you'd looked at other people though, and you'd seen what they were about. What are you doing? Like looking on the YouTube channels or
Facebook mainly? So in the martial arts business community, there's a group, and just got different coaches in there, and they'll all try and reach out to you and stuff. And it's an up and coming space, definitely. For coaching and stuff.
So just to try and then summarise the polarity of what the last podcast was and where you're at now, what are the biggest lessons or some of the biggest hurdles then that you've faced, and can you just articulate a bit more of that path of what it's been like in business for the first year operating? I'll give you a right chance there.
I guess for me, it's been I think someone said a quote like, you win by a series of short sprints to win the marathon kind of thing, which kind of stuck with me a little bit. So I'm like trying to sprint the marathon sometimes. And doing so, it'll either, if it was an actual, analogy of the marathon, you'll get injured, whatever, you're going to fatigue, you're going to slow down, and whereas you got to kind of go for that continuous steady increase. Whereas there is time where you've literally got to go all in, let's do fast growth, but you need that consolidation block as well, which I never gave myself until recently, where I did have a bit more time off. I wasn't pushing as hard, and I was just enjoying a bit more of my time, a bit more of the freedom, a bit more of the money that I've created, and just kind of having that consolidation block really. And I think adding those into your journey is very important, because without it you just burn out. Which I did get to a point in January, February. We had an amazing January. We signed up like 20 to 30 people. We finally got to like the 150 members, but then I was burnt out, and I couldn't grow past it for the next 3-4 months. And we're still there now, because I just haven't had the energy, the drive, the motivation to want to do it, because I just used it all up or whatever. But so definitely just adding in those breaks.
It's like that time, it's the same with how life's kind of built up for us, but you're prepping for something all the time, aren't you? It's this, when I get to this I will feel this, and then when I get to this, and you never have that moment to actually enjoy the feeling, because you're constantly looking in the future and you're just building. So I suppose what you're saying there is, do your fast-paced business style stuff, but just make sure you really truly eventually appreciate what you're doing and live in the moment throughout it.
Definitely.
And it's kind of a journey of really knowing yourself and what you're about, because there's also this element where you say, you need to balance. I think my balance looks very different to someone else's balance though. Definitely. I could honestly, if I'm feeling energized and creative and excited, I could work for a month solid every day comfortably, because I know it's feeding my soul. It's what I need to be doing. But then I know I will need a breaking point at some point. And then it's an acceptance of myself to go, okay, you struggle to enjoy the time off. Let's work around that. But if I was to go off society standard or what somebody else was telling me, find your balance, it'd look more like 3 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 2 days. And I'm like, it just doesn't suit me.
No.
So you got to really know yourself. Is that what you're discovering through this as well?
Yeah, definitely. And knowing that, work, I think it's a bit of a curse as well, knowing when you love something that you do for work, because you can overwork, but because you enjoy it, so it doesn't feel like work. But you do need that time for relationships and, family time and your own time as well. So I think in a business of you're similar, you're serving others. So you kind of, before you know it, you're serving others before you even serve yourself. And that's kind of a point that I got. I was just giving, and I wasn't giving to myself. I wasn't, being consistent with the gym, because I need to do work. That's more important than going to the gym for myself. Whereas now I'm a lot better at, now I'm going to the gym, like that core can wait, or I'm going to go out for the weekend this time and go like camping or whatever, because that's important to me. And doing so has made me feel just calmer and just a bit more like, we're on the right track. Let's just not worry. Let's just keep going, keep moving, keep doing the things. And we've still grown. It's funny because I feel like we've like plateaued, but in terms of like revenue, we've still grown every month.
Path,
we've got like all these nerf things, and got so many different things that we've actually grown in so many areas.
If you look at a stock market,
so,
if you like zoom into it, it's like constantly up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But then when you pull out from it, it actually always goes upwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
It's a similar metaphor, isn't it?
I think as long as you know you're doing the right things to keep moving forward.
Yes.
Then just keep doing those things. Don't worry too much about these times, because nothing blooms all year round, as another thing that kind of helped me as well.
I love it. You always put in little affirmations and quotes.
I felt like as well, needed to always be, especially when you compare yourself to social media, they've signed up there. Like, I'm not doing enough. Like, you think you're doing enough, but someone else is doing more. So you feel like I'm not doing enough. And you just got to be okay with these down periods. I think be okay with it and know that you're still going to be okay.
I think that's beautiful advice.
You're going to come out the other side.
You strike me as somebody that when you've been inspired by something, you want to go off and do that thing.
Yeah.
Business coaching, is that an element that you think down the path you might get into yourself?
Probably, yeah. I love coaching. Anyway, I love
You're good at
talking. And I do. I really enjoy it. I think it potentially in the future could be something, or just just helping people really in a way where I can help more people. Because obviously at the minute I'm helping the people of Ripley, but you know, if I want to help thousands and thousands and millions of people, it's going to have to be done something online or something bigger scale. To kind of put
you've got a very calming, positive attitude, and I could imagine in business when people are already at the maximum sort of what they can hold, and they're just in fight or flight all the time. Having somebody like you in their life would really help ease those sort of stresses a lot of the time. Does that make sense? To have a business coach that adds more pressure and more tenacity and feisty energy, for me anyway, I don't think that would suit what I need. But for somebody to be able to have that moment of breath with, check in with, and just go, this is where I'm at, I know I want to go forward, but I'm just exhausted. And then for that humble, kind nature to just be like, well, you're allowed to do that, you know. That's it does. As I said, it feels like an anomaly in that world, though. So I like to see that that's finding its way into the cracks.
Definitely. It is something that's becoming a bit more out there now, and understanding that you can't just push
mind, body, soul
push.
With a sort of spiritual attitude behind it.
My coach is very much like that, to be fair. He's very sort of spiritual.
You don't need to get David Goggins all the time, do you?
No, that's it. Like, there's times in your life where you do need a David Goggins to kick you up the bum and get you kick started and get you going. But there's also times where you need someone to just say, like, you've been like working your arse off, like, chill out a little bit. It's okay.
Well done.
Like,
here's your check-in.
Because there's so many times that I'll be like, I'm not really happy with this, and I'm like, well, have you looked? Because he makes me fill out a stat sheet every month as well to make sure, like, you know, you can't master what you don't measure. So it's always good. So like, it makes sure, like, say, and he's like, have you looked at your stats? And I'm like, yeah, what about him? He's like, have you seen your turnover? Have you seen your member growth? Have you seen this? Look how much, like, and I'm like, yeah, it's not too bad, actually, is it? And it's just like, you're doing amazing, like, don't worry, like, whereas I'm like always wanting like more and stuff. So he's and it always just kind of checking in with saying, oh, but when's the next holiday you book with Sylvie? Like, make sure you book that in, just to make sure that you kind of, you know, doing what. Because at the start I sat down what goals I wanted, and one of the goals was more time with Sylvie, go away at the weekend. So he'll say, he'll always revert back to them. He'll be like, well, when's your next adventure that you book? Like, that's what you told me you want to do.
Oh mate, I'm gonna be
like
chatting to you after this. Having a look at down the. I think I need a ego brush every now and then. Really. You're doing it right, you know. Thank God. I was ready to pack it in every other day. When you were talking about the juice is worth the squeeze in this business, because you get beautiful moments. Could you just refer to a few that you've had where you looked back or looked around and went, oh my God, we're doing it. This is it. I feel so elated by this. So that sort of happens every 3 months when we do our belt graduations. So that is a time where I really just like heartwarming, because we do, obviously they've been working for 3 months, working towards their next belt, and we do a belt graduation on the Saturday. So we do it in time slots. So, you know, like the 3 to 4s first, 5 to 7s, then the adults. And it's a time where we celebrate the fact that they have got their next belt. So we get the kids on, they'll show the mum and dad what they've been doing, get grandma and granddad down, so everyone's in, everyone's like, oh my God, that's amazing, like, you're so good, which is just meant for the mums and dads, and especially our grandma and grandmas who maybe don't see them week in, week out, and they're like, oh my God, I haven't improved so much, and look at him stood there listening, that's amazing. Look how confident he is to stand up in front of all these people and do that, which is always nice. And then I'll always say, right, mums and dads, come onto the mats, this is your time, because then I'll say, right then kids, it is your journey, it is your martial arts journey, but are you alone on this journey? And they'll be like, oh, I don't know, why? Who brought you here today? Oh, my mum and daddy. Oh, brilliant. So do they bring you to class every single week? Yeah. Do they make you go even when sometimes you don't feel like going? Yeah. So like, who pays for it? Your mum and dad. Yeah. So do you think they're massively part of the journey as well? Yeah. Go give them a massive hug and just say thank you. Oh,
and that is just like, you're like, oh my God, tears. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just seeing the mum and dad code and like,
do that.
and they're just like, it's so nice. And you just, the mums and dads just hugging their kids and they're just like, I'm so proud of you.
Look
and
what
like,
you're creating there.
It's just that bond, and they're just so proud of what they've achieved. And it's just, and you kind of look around and think, this is nice. And even for the adults who usually like come on their own or whatever, or the partners might come, and just all the other adults are just like bonded and created friendships with, and you're just like, this is so cool. Like, all these people that were probably a bit shy to begin with, didn't have too many friends, have now come and now they've created friends because of martial arts, and they, you know what I mean, they'll go out together and they'll go like at Christmas, they'll have a drinks together and stuff like that. And I think like we've created that bond, that friendship, which is just super cool. It's
True
nice.
togetherness.
Yeah, we had one of our students who's been with us for like 2-3 years, and she's moving to Laos to like go somewhere else, just like whatever. So it was just like, and we were like got some flowers and like a little photo and stuff like that, and she was like crying. I was just like,
mate.
we say
Your family
with the benefit
genuine.
family, and like it sounds so cliched and like, the family, but we generally are. We care probably more than what we should. We're investing in people's lives, and we're always there. Like we've had some really deep conversation. People saying, I'm really struggling with mental health. I'm really struggling with this. Things getting bullied, and we're like, we're here to talk. We're here to help. So yeah, it's just nice.
With that, like, I just had this feeling or thought of, imagine a parent you're speaking to now, if you could pitch sort of your business to them to say why martial arts is so important and integral in a young person's life, what would your pitch be? How would you say to them, I would advise you they come to this session because?
It depends on the person themselves. So we always say, what's your number one reason for wanting to get little Billy started? And then some of them will say the reason, he's being bullied at school. Some will say, I just want him to do something. It's great that you want him to do something. But if there was one thing that you could choose out of this list, more confidence, more focus, more discipline, anti-bullying, which one would it be? And they'll be like, probably confidence. It's amazing. So if 10 was amazing, 1 was absolutely pants, where would you rate your child's confidence? Probably only a 3. A 3? All right. What do you think we need to do to be able to get it up to a 7? And you're like, how would you feel if your child was a 7 and he could stand up for himself when you're not around, so then that you can have a bit more peace of mind? That'd be amazing. And I'm like, well, we can do that. We can help. And then that's it. Then they're like, you can solve the problem, because we are teaching martial arts, but people don't bring them for martial arts. They want them to get more confident, more focused, more disciplined. So if we can give them that, we're just the bridge in between what they want and what they can get, kind of thing. So we're like that bridge in between of, I want my child to stop being bullied and stand up for himself. We can help that. We're going to instill confidence in him. We're going to make him believe in himself. We're going to give him some moves in case he has to need to do anything. And we're going to do that for him. So then obviously the mum and dad's parents are like, I'm sold, like, sign him up. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen it it's only took like 2 weeks, and they're like, it's so much more confident already. It's like, imagine what we can do within a year. Like, imagine if it was only just increased it by 1% every single week, and like that's 50% the whole year, like, of increasing their confidence. Isn't that amazing? You're like, it's amazing. So it's just, it depends what they want out of it, really. Because I always say, like, if you come to me and say, I want you to be the next world best martial arts fighter, I say, go to the martial arts club down the road. Like, we're not about that. We're not about, competitions or anything like that. It's perfectly fine if you do. Brilliant. That's really good. But we're not for that. So we're kind of strong with our boundaries and know what we can do for people and what we can't do for people.
Yeah. And then I love what you've created, man. It's this, we are here for you. Yeah. Inclusive, the family atmosphere. And then there's so much that can be built up within that.
Yeah.
I suppose this is a thing that gets brought up in combat a lot in martial arts. What if you're equipped and given a bully style kid, and you're equipping them with techniques to harm people? How are you conscious around that, and how can you give them a different needs and meet that? Yeah. And have you ever had that situation?
Yeah, we've had it in the past where they've come down and the mum and dad said, like, they're going to school now and beating people up because of what you've taught them. And you're like, bloody hell, that's not good. So we'll get them in, we'll have a chat with them and just say, what we teach is there for, or we'll ask them saying, why do you need to learn self-defense? So I can beat people up. Do you need to beat people up? What is it really for, though? Like, do you need to just walk and beat people up? Probably not, no. And then you kind of going down that avenue of getting them to understand it's just there for protection in case you need it. And I always say, like, you don't need to prove anything. Like, imagine a secret ninja or James Bond. Does James Bond go around saying, everyone, I'm James Bond? He says, no, he's a normal person, isn't he? He only knows James Bond when he needs to be James Bond. And I always say to them, I says, you're the same. Like, a ninja's only a ninja when they need to be a ninja. So you're a secret ninja. I says, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to show anybody that you're super tough and hard. Just be your own person. Control that anger, that emotion. Don't let people, get you, kind of thing. And it's just, for those kind of people, it's just controlling that emotion and letting them understand that actually I don't need to prove anything, because there's usually a reason why they want to go around punching and kicking people. You know, it's either attention or whatever issue. But
Do you ever have a bit of a grapple with them as well and just humble them a little bit to show them?
Not really, no, to be fair. So I guess, no, not really. I don't think I've ever kind of done that before. No. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, just kind of bring them down a bit.
I think I've seen it before in action. I've probably demonstrated it before at a boxing club, this is.
Yeah.
But I think most people and young teenagers that we're working with go out to cause violence is often a fear-based response.
Yeah.
They're scared of the exterior world. It's all against them. It all wants to fight them. So when you equip them with these skills and tools, they think, oh, I'm at it now, I can protect myself. But usually the people, the hardest people, the strongest, the black belts, the pro fighters, they don't need to prove themselves anymore. And I think after a while it diminishes, because when you can truly protect yourself and you feel so confident in who you are, what you're about, and it's not a fear-based response anymore, it all just goes, doesn't it? Yeah. And you don't put your energy in that. So I think it is so important. I've definitely seen in gyms where a young 15, probably 14-year-old lads come through, and then when they say it's sparring, 20% on the head, 40% max on the body, and then they're just going for overhand rights.
Yeah.
They put one in with me, this Irish lad, and I wasn't going to hurt him whatsoever, but you just lean on them, do you know what I mean? And you just sort of catch them with shots, and they're like, oh, so they're covering up all the time.
Yeah.
And then you just pepper them, and just not hurt whatsoever, but you're just showing them, this is what could happen. Would you like that done to you more often? No. You're doing that to everyone, and it's one of those sort of moments, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're just showing them the ropes. But yeah, I like that side of it. So you feel like, and I love what you've said today, you've hit a groove with everything.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you've had more time to explore and adventure then?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, just kind of doing a bit more meditation as well, which has helped.
When I put a shout out of recent, right, I'm going to get more guests on now. I've finished these slots. Get someone on, and you shouted up. You said you've been on a bit of is it quite a new path then? So you've done the business side, 100 mile an hour, hit it, sort of hit a groove, and then what have you been?
It's been it's been mad to be fair. Because like I say, I think there was a point in my business where we was plateauing in terms of members, even though the business was still growing. But for me, I felt like I hit a bit of a wall. So just chatting with my business coach and kind of getting to the deeper reason why we've hit that plateau. And kind of it was all kind of coming back to me, the reason what I was a people pleaser. I didn't have that kind of masculinity that I also came to light. That I was, been brought up in a family with two sisters and my mum, on her own. Kind of.
How old's this business coach?
38, something like that.
He just sounds like really got a lot of tools.
Oh yeah,
is he quite a therapist as well?
Yeah. He's learned
got a lot of badges.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got a lot of badges in terms of like on paper, but in here, it's got a lot of badges.
As you were breaking it all down, I thought, that's a really sort of profound side to go to.
Yeah, definitely.
Philosophical side of his nature.
Yeah, definitely loves that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And, he's been coached as well, kind of. That's probably where it gets passed down.
Interesting.
But yeah, kind of going back to myself and realising I wasn't being as masculine as what I could be. I was letting people make decisions for me. I was very easygoing and just kind of people pleasing, and I wasn't becoming a leader because we just took on a staff member as well. And then it was like, I've actually got to be a leader now. I've got to step up. And I've got to be strong with my voice, and I've got to be strong with my boundaries, which I didn't really have. I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. I was taking too much things on, wasn't knowing my worth, very just, easygoing, people pleasing, didn't have that kind of, masculinity really. And tapping into that has been very helpful for me. Basically, it was all kind of just due to my childhood, really, of, mum and dad splitting up when I was younger, and wanting the love from both my mum and my dad whilst I was a kid, and being around a house with all women.
A lot of feminine energy.
Yeah, a lot of feminine energy. So, and I never kind of had that masculine role in my life to balance it out a little bit, which is why people, say, oh, you're really soft-natured and calm and stuff like that, which is great. It's better than being like a steroid head or something like that. But there's times where you need to be a man, you need to step up, and you need to do it. Like, even when me and Sylvia got together like 5 years ago, I wouldn't go up and order at the restaurant, I'd get Sylvie to go do it because I was so scared of like making a mistake or the fear of if they said something else that I wasn't sure about. And it's just these little things that was holding me back massively.
Call it like generational trauma, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not, when you say trauma, people think of this huge gravitas things happen.
Yeah.
It's actually often very micro things that we're unconscious of that are ingrained into us as we grow older.
Yeah.
So if you had to go and look at your timeline and really pick through all these elements of you.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And it was quite hard at first, like it felt so heavy on my chest of all these things of like, why wouldn't I? And like looking back when I was like teenager and doing things, and I think like, why did I do that? Like, why not? I was just so confident just to go do it. Why did I have to like hold back? Or
when you love people, you don't want to blame it on them, do you? You're like, oh no, but they were doing what they knew at the time, and that's the point of this sort of generational work.
Yeah, avoiding conflict was a big one as well. I hated conflict. You know, if you're at a restaurant and something's not right, I'd be like, yeah, it's lovely, it's great. You know what I mean? And
that's people pleasing.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd avoid it all the time. And but in terms of being a business owner and being a leader for a team, we've got a good team of like 7 or 8 now, and they all look up to me for guidance. And it got to a point where we had a team meeting, and one of the team was like, I don't know who's teaching on what classes. I don't know who's this, like who's the assistant coach, who's the helper, who's this. And they was kind of coming to me saying like, what's going off, Jordan? Like, you need to tell us what you want. And I'm like, well, what do you want? Like, do you want to do this? Like, if you want to do a Tuesday, you do a Tuesday. And they were like, you tell me, like, you're the leader kind of thing. It was so humbling. I was like, yeah, like, I actually need to be that person. I need to actually be the person. So, just kind of worked through it with my coach, just talking. And we did a lot of like sort of deep kind of therapy thing where we kind of called it like the tyrant. Basically, it's like I want you to imagine you've got like a beam in your head. It's all in your thoughts in your head. And imagine that beam's go down. It's on your heart now kind of thing. You have to ask yourself, tyrant, what's holding me back? Tyrant, why am I not progressing? And you're asking it the question, you're like in this sort of meditative state, and you're just coming out with what was coming out. And it's like, tyrant, what do you think you're capable of? Or tyrant, what am I capable of? Whatever. And it was like, you can achieve anything. That was like the first thing that came to my mind. And then it was kind of like, why can't we go beyond this 150 members? And I was like, because I've never been there before. And like all these things that was like just coming up, like I wasn't thinking about it. It was just kind of voices. It kind of all came down to just not believing in myself, not being a leader, not being a man, and just needed to tap into that to do it. So when I kind of highlighted all these areas that I need to improve on, I just went about it. So
Dude,
I'm
buzzing for this, Paul. I'm like,
so I literally just started like setting more boundaries. I was being so strict with people, not like horrible boundaries, just saying, look, this is me, this is where I stand. If you like it, fantastic. If you don't. Whereas before I'd be really bothered about it. Just making decisions, not like fanning around with it and stuff, just kind of going straight in. Just tapping into that masculine energy, really.
What are the sort of attributes would you attach to the masculinity?
Obviously being decisive, I think was a big one, especially being a leader of a team. You need to make decisions. Again, just not being worried about avoiding conflict, standing for what you believe in was a big thing. Like, like bargaining and stuff like that. If you're buying something, there's always that one who's not as confident who'll be like, oh yeah, go on then, I'll take it. Whereas that other person's like, no, this
quite
is my price
malleable,
and I'm sticking with it. And it's kind of that confidence and that sort of
self-belief.
Yeah, self-belief. And when you come across people and like they're so assertive of themselves that they're not worried about if you're not happy with it, or they're not, you know what I mean? And you kind of had to be that. It's not like you're being an arsehole. You're being a strong person that has strong boundaries, and you're respecting yourself by not crossing those boundaries if you don't want to.
I like, because there's this assertive to me and assured. Assertive feels like it's pressing and it's a bit exaggerated and over the top at times. But assured of self is, no, this is who I am, this is what I'm willing to give, I'm comfortable in that. And you don't have to be horrible with it either, do you?
No. This is like you say, people who had them boundaries, like I have a lot of respect for them. It's just like, like
boundaries is a big word in my life now. Learned that probably last year, boundary setting, and I thought, what does that even mean? And it's one of these buzzwords in the self-development world that gets thrown about, but when you truly understand that boundary setting and how integral that is in all like family, partner, child, business partner, everything. They all have to have boundaries, and they need to know where they stand within that.
Yeah.
Or it becomes too elusive.
Yeah, like I say, I think for me it's just got control back in my life.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't have boundaries, people control you.
Yeah.
Which was a massive problem for me, especially with the business. Like people messaging me at like 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. Oh, should I reply back to that email? Yeah, I'll reply back to it now. So it'll be nice and quick. And you think, why am I doing that? Like, so now I've set boundaries, like between this time and this time, that's my working hours. After then it's not. And I think being self-employed, you can fall into a trap of just constantly want to work just to keep on top of the to-do list.
Yeah.
So any bit of time you get, you want to put it as work. Whereas there were times where, I had like a Saturday off and it was like, I could really do loads of work and catch up. But I was like, no, actually, I'm going to just like chill out. I'm actually going to ring my mate and say, do you want to go to like, the spa?
Yeah.
And chill out a little bit, and like I'm going to watch some TV. And just do it, and having those, and not feeling guilty for not doing work as well.
Mate, we sound like we've been on such a similar path. Honestly,
Yeah,
everything you're saying, I'm just nodding like,
Yeah.
I get you with that in every other way, honestly. It must be something, as a young person, you go into business and it all starts to accumulate and get on top of you.
Yeah, I think, I definitely would think everyone should have therapy.
Yes.
Because you have a lot of what's the word? Just like from your childhood and stuff.
Unconscious behaviours.
Yeah. The way you are today is based on your environment and what's happened as a kid. Things that you don't necessarily know has happened as a kid, or you don't know why.
Yeah.
Or you just know you're not putting like the two and two together.
I think instead of generational trauma, they just call it generational conditioning.
Yeah.
There's a good, like all my mates, when I went travelling to Australia, they all used to laugh at me because everyone laughed at me all the time anyway. I used to open up my cereal in a really odd way. And everyone was like, what is that? And then I had no idea. I really couldn't put it past me why this was the way I've seen on TV, what has happened. And anyway, I got back from travelling and I went home for the first time. I get back in the family, go and see my dad, have a dinner, wake up in the morning, go round, and my dad's opening the cereal in the exact way.
Wow.
And it was this moment of, oh my God, I've never known myself to look at him and go, oh, that's how you do that then. But it's just gone straight into my subconscious, deep down, that I'd never imagined. And if you look at that as a real base level factor of it, imagine what goes in through the emotions and through every other side of it. We're just sponges, aren't we? We're absorbing everything.
Yeah.
It's data collection. So that's what we're doing. And when you're looking at life and you're facing problems, you have to go as far back as you can possibly go to imagine where you've got this common theme through and this loop that you seem to be stuck in.
Yeah.
And then it's bringing the unconscious conscious, because the people pleasing, quite a people pleaser myself, but when I learnt about that, I became the opposite.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have any flexible attitude towards it. I would just be like, right, no.
One extreme to the other.
But then now I can sort of people please in moments where I think I can give to this.
You're aware of it, aren't you?
I'm aware. It's the awareness. Like my grandma, I know for a fact I'm people pleasing here in this situation, but I've got the flexibility and the elasticity. Is that the word?
We'll go for it.
It's a nice word.
Yeah.
I'm elastic in terms of when I can just go, I can give to that. I'll spend that extra 10 minutes to do this thing, but I'm aware of it now. Yeah. So I think it's so important. I love what you said. Everyone would benefit.
Definitely.
From every time we say it, buzzer comes down. But therapy is integral. So you're doing all this discovery and this learning. And you've been to the festival recently.
I have, yes.
What was it?
Vegan Camp Out.
The Vegan Camp Out. I
was
supposed to be there this year and last year. Yeah, invited Jordan, me twice. Do you know Jordan?
I saw him on stage.
Oh, really?
The weekend, yeah, but I don't know of him.
He's a lovely fellow. It's really funny because I started the poetry 10 years ago now, maybe, like 8. And he was the guy that stuck by me the whole way.
Wow.
He would always like and share and da-da-da-da-da. And then as life goes, we sort of just drift.
Yeah.
But he's one of these guys that had, again, a similar philosophy to us. He was a doer.
Yeah.
He was always building. He was always talking about, I'm going to do this thing.
Brilliant.
And so some people, you kind of think, nah, it's all talk.
Yeah.
But then to just see what he's done with this space and this festival, and then he's offering so many people for free sometimes to come down if they've not experienced it before. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is phenomenal what he's done. So really excited. I saw you post on Instagram pictures of you being there, and I thought, oh, cool, stars aligning.
Yeah.
Can you paint me a bit of a picture?
Yeah, sure. Just going back to what you said about people drifting apart. There's a good quote that my coach said. It says, people are either in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
That's amazing.
And that stuck with me as well.
I love that.
A reason, a season, or a lifetime. So like I say,
a reason, a season.
And it's kind of true. There's people that you think, I don't speak to them anymore, but like maybe it was a reason. Like they gave me a reason why they was in my life, or people that, some people are just in your lifetime for a season, aren't they? Like a summer, a winter, whatever it is, and you got those. So I thought that, I just thought about it then. I thought that's something that stuck with me.
I think something like you, Joe Dispenza style, the laws of attraction stuff, and The Secret. Again, it's just a good philosophy to have. It's a good attitude, because if you think people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, then your mindset's programmed to look for them moments. Do you know what I mean? When I'm with people, then I can be looking, okay, that's cool. Why is this happening? Who is this person? And why are they here?
Yeah.
And finding the why within that. So it's just a good attitude to deploy anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I'll answer your question now. So vegan camp out, obviously the name suggests. Camping site, it was in near Leicestershire, Stamford Hall, I think something like that.
Where's that?
I want to say Stamford Hall, but
okay.
I feel like, I think it's called Stamford Hall, somewhere in like Leicester anyway, or Leicestershire. And it was before, obviously, like we're coming up to 2 years vegan now. And we saw this festival last year going off. We saw it come up again this year, and we was a bit like, oh, what's that going to be like? It's going to be the cliche vegans shoving it down your throat, full of weirdos. Like, do we really want to go? And we like massively judged it based on that stigma around veganism and vegan people. And then one day I was just like, shall we just go? Like, what's the worst? It could be great, it could be terrible. Let's just do it. So it was a bit of a whim, and was a bit like apprehensive about booking it. But we just thought, sod it, we'll go for it. And then like we didn't even have a tent or anything, so we had to full on like kit ourselves out. And then whilst we was in the queue, we got there, was in a queue, and there's some people behind us, and there's very sort of eccentric people. We're like a bit
hippie,
a little bit, we're not quite like that. Like we're pretty reserved, to be fair, classic British reserved. Very eccentric, and sort of sure of themselves, and you're not bothered. And so it was queuing up. I thought, oh god, this is gonna be strange. Like some strange people here. Like just proper like end of the spectrum. Where you're like, I would not like
polar to who you are.
Yeah, definitely. Like nothing wrong with them, obviously. Like dead sound nice people, just not our people kind of thing. But then we got all pitched up and stuff like that. And then just walking around, just experiencing the whole festival was just amazing. You're just surrounded by like-minded people. Everybody's there. You don't have to worry about any of the food not being vegan. You don't have to worry about anyone like sort of saying horrible things, because of like everyone's just there for a bit like respect. I imagine what Pride's like, you know what I mean, or people, they just feel like they can be themselves. So as soon as we got there, we just felt like we could be ourselves. Like we felt this kind of like something's off our shoulders, like unlocking, like we could literally just be free. Like that's how it kind of felt.
Alleviate very quickly.
And it sounds mad, like you sound like, whatever, be free, but like it just genuinely did kind of feel that way. Like you had people just like dancing like no one's watching, and just kind of doing whatever they want, just chatting to people, and it was just a good energy. You just got a good energy around the place. So we're like, the first day we kind of took it as a bit of a festival. We had a few drinks and just kind of had some nice food, and didn't really get into there's 3 stages: activism stage, a main stage, and a music stage. Listened to a bit of music, saw some of the people talk who we follow on Instagram, like some influencers and stuff. And then on the Sunday, because we kind of had a bit enough of drinking or whatever, we got up, we did a yoga session in the morning, like on the grass with like 600 people, all doing yoga, sun coming down. Yeah, it was mad. It was crazy. Then went for a swim in the lake afterwards, come out the lake, where then we did some meditation, and then we did a HIIT class, and like, it was just good energy, and everyone's like, woo, like, just I've done 5 burpees, everyone's like, woo, come on, you're like, this is such good energy, like, you were just like, pumped, like, you're absolutely buzzing, and everyone around you's just sort of like loving it, like, oh, well done, man, that was awesome, and you're just like, this is amazing, like, it was just so, like, enlightening. And then we went to the activism stages, learned about all these different things that are going off, like Camp Beagle, which, have you ever heard of Camp Beagle?
No.
So like it's this place in, I can't remember where it is, in the UK. I want to say somewhere down south, I'm not sure. But it's basically they're a puppy breeding kind of farm for beagles, and they just keep them in horrible cages. It's all like locked up, security. The government pay for it. Horrendously treating these little puppy beagles, and then they just get shipped over to different laboratories and tested with bleach and like shove stuff down their noses and like horrendous stuff that they're testing these beagles for. And there's a thing called Camp Beagle where activist people are camping outside of the main gates. I think Will Young, he was handcuffed himself to the main gates like not long ago. Like just people are there all the time spreading awareness, saying like, how can this go on in the UK? These lorries like come in, pick up all these dogs, these beagles, take them to these labs, and they just get treated horrendously, put bleach on their eyes like to see if it's any good, and all these just horrible things, and just get kept in like little pens. They've got no air, they've got like a little vent, and these guys there that was chatting like this, you can join it like Camp Beagle. These people like actually broke in. Like these two people broke in, grabbed like 3 or 4 puppies. The security, apparently, when they walked in, was just like, do what you want, like, just do what you need to do, kind of thing, and just let them get on with it. And they even knew what was going on.
Is that because they had this conscious...
I think so. So then...
angst?
Yeah, probably. So they just, like, let them... They got, like, 4 beagles, like, ran through these massive crop fields, like, helicopters out, police are all after them, and this dog was just, like...
Look how much effort they put into capturing...
Yeah, so then this, like, apparently they've got these dogs, and they were a bit, like, the dog's obviously dead scared and frightened, and then just started, like, wagging its tail. And it was just, like, it's the first time that dog's kind of been happy, like free or something. But then they got these dogs safe. They've been rehomed now, which is amazing, away from all the torture. And then the guys who did it, they went to the police station the next day to hand themselves in because they wanted to put them on trial, because they knew if they went to the court for what they're doing, they would be in serious like trouble kind of thing. So they wanted to take it to court. They wanted to make it a big thing, get it on the news, and showcase all these people what dodgy things they're doing, what taxpayers' money is going towards funding hurting beagles and these dogs.
Animal lives.
And then so they got fined or whatever. Went to the and then when they was in the police, they dropped all the charges.
Really?
So like, where do you ever get done for theft, robbery, break and entry, private property, for it all just to be like, yeah, you can go now. So what are they hiding for somebody to drop all those charges?
Yeah, we don't want you looking
into what we're doing. So like, that was a big thing where I was like, Jesus, man, that's so bad, and nobody knows what's going off, and everyone just thinks like, yeah, taxpayers' money is going to great things, but you know, that's what it's funding. You know, animal testing.
Well, I had no idea of anything.
No, you wouldn't, do you? Because they want to hide it. So we like make sure all our products are cruelty free.
Was that a big moment for you of, okay, like I know I went down the vegan route for my own personal feelings, but then you go to this festival and it starts to unfold that not only am I passionate about this and I'm with like-mindedness, but when these stories are unfolding and I'm finding out more and more in the depth of it, I feel the need or the want to share this story and start finding platforms and people to discuss this with and be a bit more activist with my approach.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with doing the work from before of becoming my own person, tapping into my own true self and setting those boundaries and being confident and being that man and not worrying about having an outspoken viewpoint because you was worried about the conflict of somebody disagreeing with you. Now it's like, I'm so confident that I will say what I stand up for. I will say what I believe in. And I know people aren't going to agree with it, but I'm pretty sure most people would be against torturing beagles.
Yeah.
They'll be like, well, yeah, I'd hate that happen. But then obviously you can say, would you be against torturing a pig? They'll be like, probably again. Yeah, of course. So why do you eat bacon and sausages, and why do you pay for somebody to torture them? So then it kind of has that conflict of, you know, when people say, oh, I love animals. But then they eat animals. It's kind of like, well, do you really love an animal if you're eating it? Or do you just love pets? Which is kind of what it is, really, isn't it?
Differentiate your animals.
People love dogs,
choice.
People love cats, bunny rabbits, think it's cute, but then they're happy to, you know, pay for slaughtering and torturing these animals, which, that kind of happened for me. It was a bit of a conflict of like, how can I say I love animals when I'm funding something that I don't... I thought I just said I loved animals. Like, how can I love animals? Like, you can't do the two for me. I don't think you can say you can love animals and then happily pay for somebody to slit a pig's throat for you to eat it. That was kind of a big thing for us, and yeah, just kind of going for the weekend. It wasn't like push her in your face or anything like that. It was literally just saying, look, this is what it's all about. You know, this is what happens in the dairy industry. This is what happens in farming and stuff like that. And you kind of looking at it, and it does hit you. It does for me anyway. Where I just thought, this is mad. Like, more people need to know about this, because it's all hidden in this country. Like, there is people that genuinely think like the pig runs around in the field, happy as Larry, having the best life ever, and then it just slowly fades away, and then just slowly pick it up, then we'll just, chop it up nice and gently, when it's just not the case. They get put into gas chambers and die a horrible death.
I think for a lot of people, it's because they've been so far removed from when they go to the shop. It's in this tiny little package.
Exactly.
And they all look the same. So if you showed a kid pictures of all these animals and then told them to put the meat next to where they wouldn't have a clue, would they?
It's funny, I was on about this. I says, when kids see animals, they give it love. They just want to see it, don't they? They want to run up to it, give it some food, stroke it. Like, they're not necessarily scared of it. And I said, imagine if that kid watched that animal get chopped up, and then say, right, here's your chicken nuggets just from that animal there. Would they, one, want to eat it, or two, would they not want to eat it based on the trauma that they've just seen someone chop its head off, or genuinely because of they've realised that that's weird. That was the animal that I was just petting. That was when I was just stroking on its head and I was looking into its eyes, and it felt like we had a connection. And then now I'm about to go eat that. Yeah. So I was interested to see whether or not kids have that mental capacity to know what's going off, or do we actually need to go back to that childhood, like just love, and like we don't need to see it as food. Some as you get older, your mindset changes from love and care and it's an animal, would never hurt any animals, to it's alright if we can just hurt the pigs and the cows and the chickens.
I think people weird. Prefer to bury their heads and not think about it and not have the conversations, because they've picked a path and they're comfortable and confident in that path now, so then they hold easy jargony things to say to back their argument. I think a lot of people do that in all elements of life now. It's like they have this rhetoric that you'll stand to, and you're like, I can say this, this and this, and then it closes the argument. Yeah. And rather than working inside of all of the nuance behind it, for the moral conundrum for me, not many people have a strong standpoint to go from. If they can extrapolate from, I love my dog, I love my cat, okay, what about... It's hard to fight that battle.
It's that moral justice, isn't it, really? I guess kind of what is morally right. Can it be?
Most people have a moral qualm, don't they? They're stuck there with this uncomfortable feeling. Yeah,
it's if it's uncomfortable, instead of exploring it, people just ignore it. Yeah, isn't it?
I've felt it. I've seen,
which is fine, because that's what we've been conditioned to do. It's like, why would I want to think about it? I'd rather just ignore it and just have my chicken nuggets.
And especially from abattoirs and so on, I've seen some of the most traumatic videos I've ever seen. And this is it. I live on a farm now. It's got no livestock on it or anything. We do kids projects and whatnot. But I think I am becoming more and more and more conscious around it. And I'm trying to make better and better and better decisions. We've had a long back and forth, haven't we? And where I kind of stand with it at the moment is based... And my moral, again, I've told you, I've got such a moral qualm there. And I'm really trying to better all my choices and know what journey the food and the meat has taken to get on my plate, and understand that. But I do think it's trying to constantly minimise it at the minute as well. Me and my partner Chrissy have been having these discussions to the point it probably will start taking way more meals that become vegetarian or vegan and build our way to that. Where I struggle with this, and this is just through experience, is the nutritional side of things. And I did a year away in South Africa, and I was forced into going vegan because it was a little commune.
People.
I was there in this little commune, small. It's a sanctuary looking after primates, and the local shop was a half an hour walk. We were out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, nothing going on, and you just couldn't get meat. at all, really. They had mutton, and that was like, you'd be excited if they had a little load, and I'd try and go and sneak my bit in. But most people there were also vegan. My partner was vegan.
Yeah.
It was just very easy to go down that path. So I thought, I'm not that precious to it all. I'm here. I'm going to play my part.
Yeah.
I got really unwell, and then I started doing some investigation. I came home for a week, went to the doctors because I had such a bad gut all the time. I was just physically weak and just drained and tired constantly. I felt like my testosterone limited. Like I didn't feel thirsty and excited. I just felt numb. And he was asking about my diet and the nutrition and so on. First, we found out I was celiac, so that even minimised even more stuff and choices out my diet. And then we looked down other intolerances and factors, and he just told me to reintroduce meat where I could and if I could. And I did, and that did make me feel more energised. I remember I didn't feel as tired anymore, and particularly like fish and oily fishes he was talking about, and certain red meat. So I'd be eating bits of meat here and there, and it was like a switch, genuinely like a switch in my life. So there I started looking down nutrition and podcasts and listening to as much information as I could. And I think I said this to you, the reason I love debate and podcasts so much is because when you read a book or you listen to a documentary or just some person's podcast on their own, you're just going on their venture with them, aren't you?
Yeah.
And all their facts and collating information, you're going on with them. But where you've got two people arguing or having a civilized adult chat and debate, I always find the truth somewhere in the middle often. But when I was listening to all this information and podcasts with nutritionists particularly together, I don't know why, but I always felt that when they were purely on the nutritional aspect of it, the meat side of things overweighed the vegan aspect of things. That was me on a nutritional perspective, listening, and my own experience that I'd lived through where I felt ill. So do you feel it is harder and more complex going into a vegan diet to get all your requirements?
Yeah, it definitely is harder, I'd say. But I think a lot of people on a meat eating diet still don't get all the right nutrients and stuff like that. A lot of it's kind of from what I've kind of read and listening to experts. I mean, disclaimer: we're not both doctors.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're kind of both just podcast
Imagine
junkies.
Me start throwing out some facts and information there.
So please fact check everything. But obviously, what we're kind of saying is from what we've read and listened to professionals. So I think a lot of it's down to the gut microbiome. And if you've always ate meat all your life, that's what your gut microbiome is kind of been adapted to. So as soon as you start introducing some of these different foods like beans and lentils and tofu and tempeh and all these kind of vegan foods, of course it's going to have a bit of discomfort to begin with because it's something new. Just like I think I said the analogy of running a marathon. You won't wake up tomorrow and say, well, I'm going to run a marathon. You're going to give you a bit of time, bit of training, get your body adapt to what you want it to do, and so on and so on. So I think if you know what you're eating is good, like there's nobody in the world that will deny not eating vegetables and lentils and stuff like that is bad. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is a good thing, and it's good stuff for your body, and it's got lots of different nutrients and vitamins, and you can get them all from a vegan diet, just like you can a vegetarian diet, a meat eating diet, and that is even on the NHS website. It does say, done properly, you can follow a vegan diet. Like, so for me, the nutritional argument kind of isn't there because it is possible, but it is a lot difficult. So a lot of people, what they do is when they transition, they'll either go all in, right, I'm vegan tomorrow. But it doesn't work like that. It takes a long time to transition based on the knowledge. Like, you just need to understand how much protein is in lentils, how much is in tofu. Whereas a lot of people kind of, if they're used to having steak, 2 veg and a carb, they'll just remove the steak and then they'll just have the veg and the carb. It's just like, well, of course you're going to get ill because you've just took all your protein away. So that's the number one question. Where do you get your protein from? Even when you ask the vegan bodybuilders, like, where do you get your protein from? Like, so when people say, and there's that sort of stigma and kind of perception that vegans are weedy and weak and they've got no energy, isn't it? Which is just ridiculous when you've got vegan bodybuilders, vegan outfits. Djokovic, He's vegan.
Yeah.
So how can you have an argument saying it's not nutritionally right when you've just seen somebody win Wimbledon on a vegan diet? So like for me, it's kind of people. I feel like sometimes say that without actually knowing it.
Find the bodybuilder one isn't a great one to look down though, because sometimes they've juiced
up, yeah, of course, and obviously you don't know.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of vegan bodybuilders out there, so you'd like to think at least one of them isn't juicing.
Somebody.
So hopefully, but yeah, I know what you're saying, and but yeah, I feel like the time it takes to transition is important, but also I was reading about this earlier because the enzymes in your gut microbiome, you need certain ones to digest certain foods. So like for me, because I'm going through nutrition at the minute just for my Crohn's disease, there's certain enzymes that I'm not breaking down certain foods in. That's why it causes me discomfort and bloating and stuff like that. So I feel like we've adapted our diet and our gut microbiome to suit a meat eating diet. So then when people transition, the body's not taking those nutrients in from the foods because it's just not got those enzymes and you've not done it properly. Which again, it takes time, and you've got to have a big enough reason for want to go vegan. Like I say, if you care about the animals, that's a big enough reason to take that time, effort, potentially money to invest in your health to get you to a point where you can be a healthy vegan. Because it's not impossible. There's a lot of information out there now, but you just got to have that bit of time and open-mindedness to make sure that you are doing it properly. Like we track our food, not so much now, but because we go to the gym. I mean, Sylvie, we go to the gym 4 days a week. I do kickboxing and run my own business, so how can I follow a vegan diet and be weedy and tired and brain fog and all these things that people say come from a vegan diet? But it's took us nearly 2 years to get to this point now. Like there's probably a time where we wasn't getting enough protein in and we was losing a bit more weight than what I wanted to, but it's just down to knowledge, personal knowledge of having the time and energy to put into it. Cause like anything, like our bodies can adapt to anything. People live off McDonald's and whiskey. And they're still alive. They're not dead. Yeah, they're not as healthy as what they could be.
That is what the body starts to adapt itself to, isn't it? The microbiome.
Yeah. So I think it's you've got to give your body time to adapt.
It's being optimal. And do you think? Because I love and I find it fascinating how diverse our bodies are.
Yeah.
And everybody's body reacts differently. You see people on high-fat diets and they're absolutely thriving. And then somebody else tries to move to that.
Yeah.
And they say it was the worst experience of my life. Thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Then people that operate functionally and really well on carbohydrate heavy diets, if I have that, I'm knackered. I can't operate whatsoever. I'm just tired all the time. So do you think how diverse our bodies are, it would benefit some people to go vegan more than others? And then for those people where they have such diversities in and needs for their bodies, how do you say to them to go down that path other than just slowly and find a nutritionist and something to build with? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think everybody can be optimal from the vegan-based diet is what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I think they could, but I feel like some people will probably take longer than others. Some people would adapt a lot easier. Like I say, if you've got your diet at the minute is just full of processed foods, your digestive enzymes are going to be knackered. Like, do you know what I mean? So...
and you've got to take on board the intolerances and so on. If somebody's celiac and
go on.
A big intolerance to me is like beans are a real inflame me all the time, and I know I can start to try to introduce them every so often and keep, but I feel I've been on a right heavy relationship with beans. Every single time me and Chrissy do a hot pot or whatever it is, and here's a kidney bean, here's a lentil, here's a whatever. There's just something that inflames my stomach every time, and we play with it. So I've just eradicated them out the diet. I've sort of self-diagnosed that is just an intolerance.
Yeah, I guess there's that debate of whether it is an intolerance or is it just your body's not ready for it, kind of, or you've not gone through. A bit like going to the gym, like your muscles ache. There's two options. Yeah, you can never go to the gym again, and I can guarantee your arms will ache again. But if you do go to the gym and you keep going, they will get stronger. So removing that stimulus.
So you do think that you could always...
I think so, yeah. Based on
reintroduce things back into the diet.
Yeah, slowly and done correctly. I think you can do it based on that podcast that I sent you. I think that listened one of Wes.
I'll truly listen to that. What was it?
I can't remember. I'll have to send it to you. But yeah, it was. I think the guy's called Nimai Delgado. He's the bodybuilder he had the guy on who's a gut microbiome specialist, like a doctor, like, very well established person that's a lot more credited to talk about it than me.
Nobody that's listening to this start reintroducing foods.
So I think he basically said, like, it's good for you, so stick with it, kind of thing. And it's just your body's, it's something new, it's something like foreign to your body. Like,
reaction,
of course it's going to have a reaction, because it's just like, well, this is new, what do we do with it? Oh, I'm not quite sure yet, until we've worked out how to digest this food, and go down that kind of path with it. But it takes time, and most people aren't willing to take the time to do it. They think, well, why would I do that when I'm fine how I am? So until you've got a big enough reason for wanting to go vegan for the animals, and understanding that people can not just survive on a vegan diet but thrive on a vegan diet, fitness people as well, then there's no kind of worry that it might not work for me anyway. But definitely getting a nutritionist on board and someone who can guide you through it and help you through it if you're not one to take the time and effort to do it yourself.
What are some of the biggest deficiencies that you're going to find other than sort of protein, like zincs and irons, or
I don't take any supplements at the minute, and obviously through my Crohn's disease I get like blood tests and stuff like that, and they've never said anything's low or
all the
anything
levels
like that.
Good.
And you can get all your vitamins and minerals that you can from a meat eating diet. The one that's always an argumentative one is the B12, vitamin B12. I'll go back to B12. I just thought of something else. When calcium, obviously people think drinking milk is calcium, but then all those people that are lactose intolerant, how do they survive? Like, no one ever questions that. You say, I'm lactose intolerant, you're like, oh, that's a shame. Oh, I'm vegan. How do you get your calcium? When they're all right, so why, just because I'm vegan, why am I not all right for calcium? So it's funny. It's funny that is. B12 is the one that apparently that most people can get from meat and only meat, but then that's just a byproduct of the animal eating the grass from the soil. So
and it's often in liver, isn't it?
So the grass that the animal eats, we then kill that animal and then we take that B12 from that. So basically, the vegans just kind of cutting out the middleman and going straight for the grass kind of thing.
Do they eat the grass?
Well, they won't necessarily eat the grass, but the soil. It's to do with the soil that it's grown in. So there's a person called Earthling Ed that's got a very good video on this that will probably articulate it a lot better than me. But basically, it's to do with, once upon a time, our ground did have the right amount of B12 levels in it, so we could grow the grass for the livestock to eat, and then that transferred into the animal. But now, because we've ruined the farming land so much, we don't have any natural B12 in the soil. So what farmers do is they fortify the soil with B12.
Right.
So, and then it's kind of the same thing with the vegan diet. That gets fortified into oats and whatever and stuff like that. So the B12 you're getting from your animal food is the same as what a vegan would be getting from their fortified food. Like, they've both been fortified, if you know what I mean. But there's a good video on Earth and Earth one. I'll send it you.
Have you seen these fake meats that are being made at the moment? I was going to ask for your opinion and theory on that.
So I don't necessarily think they're the best thing in the world. With the vegan camp out, there's all about whole food, organic, vegan diet, plant-based diet, not fake burgers and fake, you know what I mean? Because even though it's great that, some people are vegan for different reasons. Some people are vegan for the animals and they're happy to live off these Beyond Burgers and fake chicken things because for them, they're not bothered about nutrition. They just want to survive, but don't want to kill any animals, and that's fine. But there's a lot of people that are like me who are bothered about nutrition. Know that these fake meats are just no good. It's just processed food, just like any other processed food. So, but I think they're okay to have in moderation. Like, if you're a meat eating diet, you have like a pizza or a McDonald's or whatever, it's crap, it's not going to be great beef, yet you still eat it because life's short and you want to enjoy these sort of different foods. So just making sure that your diet's 80% at least whole foods, proper food instead of just chemicals. I think
this one's slightly different. It was on that podcast I sent you a little mini clip with the Rogan and the guy that had gone into veganism. And he was talking about this factory. It was like costing at the time like £300 for this burger, but it had all the same requirements and nutritional factor. So I think if that starts to pioneer, we're going to see a dramatic shift in meat production.
I think that just on that's kind of the worrying thing for me, is that when people go vegan, they just switch the meat for the fake meat.
Which
is just like, you're not like
sort of
better,
processed
healthier,
heavy oils and
yeah.
stuff.
So it's just like you're helping the animals, but you're not necessarily helping yourself. Like,
Yeah.
and then it's like
And
living
that's
in
where
the
it gets a
processed
bad
food.
rap, doesn't it?
Yeah.
then? Because they get ill from it eventually.
Yeah, and then they blame the vegan
And,
food, and then they go back to eating meat when it was nothing to do with that. It's just the fact you've just switched it for processed food. When
But it's a more complex route, isn't it? If you're going to get all your nutrients in. So you've got to probably look into a nutritionist or filling yourself with as much information as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Because they say you should try and eat at least 40 different plants a week. So like they can be like from herbs as well. It doesn't have to always be like your vegetables or fruits and stuff like that. But eating 40 different ones and making that gut biodiversity, that's kind of the goal. You want to do as many different things as possible, so your gut is just ready for anything. And that's what we try and do. We'll have like different random things like chard, I think we had the other day, which is like a random vegetable, and just different things that you're just saying, look, gut, like whatever I eat, you're going to be ready for it because I've introduced all these different foods.
The reason
variety.
I went more down maybe even a carnivore based approach at time was in a podcast where it was a vegan against Paul Salandino, who has the carnivore approach, and he spoke about everything in essence being a living organism and wanting to thrive and survive. That's what the universe does, and you've got to look at that in all aspects of life. And then he spoke about plants, and then spoke about the mechanisms in which things have deployed to survive. So animals often bigger teeth, faster legs, biomechanics, like so they can get out of the way of things, whereas a plant's got nothing to protect itself. So what will a plant often go and do? And that's grow toxicity. So they talk about this plant toxicity, and he said I think it's like 3% of animals that you can't eat in the world, but only like 10% of plants that you can eat. If you went now and just started foraging and eating plants, eventually you're going to die quite quickly because of this plant toxicity, and they're all trying to protect themselves.
Right.
So I just wonder your thought on, if you have this vegetable-based diet, can you not get plant toxicity that from what they're trying to protect themselves from, particularly rooted plants?
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard about that plant toxicity.
I suppose that'd be one way you've got to learn and go down the path of it, because I just heard the podcast and I was like, this is something I've never heard of. Had you heard of anything
no,
like that?
No, I've never heard of anything like that before.
It's a good podcast.
It's interesting. Yeah, definitely. No, I wouldn't like I won't be able to necessarily comment on it because I wouldn't know. But in terms of our fruit and veg now, we always try and buy organic ones just because it's got less pesticides on it and stuff like that, really.
But then the fruit of the plant's safer, like apparently, because the fruit's what blossoms, and then in order for a human would eat that in the past and go around, poop it out, the seeds would grow in the soil and that'd blossom out again. He was just talking about more the root-based plants. That's where I told you about the acacia tree, which was fascinating, because then you're looking at all this mechanisms, plants, and they're so fascinating. But that one for me was, so it wasn't even, they didn't have a caterpillar near it, but they had the sound of a caterpillar eating a plant.
Right.
And simply by playing this vibration, this frequency and sound, the acacia tree changed its scent and put out a toxicity and put out a smell to repel this. So it just showed that it was a living organism and had this. I don't know, because
go on.
we want to articulate things through a humanistic perspective, don't we? Like thoughts, feelings, emotions. So that's why we can comprehend that for animals. Like you see an animal, you're like, oh, lovely, cute, whatever. But then are we getting into this realm through sort of I can't remember what the science is called, but where we're finding everything's got a bit of a conscious realm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think I know what you mean. Like, so, I guess it is that fine line of what do we class as sentient. I know, like for plants, they don't have like a brain, a central nervous system, and that's why sort of vegans justify eating plants and stuff like that. And so I guess from an animal's point of view, it is sentient. It can feel pain, whereas apparently plants can't feel pain due to from the studies and stuff like that. So
I'm sort of alluding to is like, can they?
Can they? Yeah, exactly. And if they're sending these vibrations or whatever, does that mean actually there's something
there
more
is an
than
awareness
vibrations
behind that,
or
that
is it
we
just in vibrations?
can't
Is that just
comprehend.
something? Maybe that's, I don't know. Like, is that just what they do without actually thinking about it, and they don't feel pain? And I don't know.
That's the thing with me and you. We find things so fascinating, and we love listening to so many podcasts, but I'm sure there is information out there of all different walks of life, and to go into the depths of this, I just heard it on a podcast, and I had to re-listen to the podcast, because I was like, that was too much information. But as I was going into it, I'd got the books, and I started listening to little bits of it, but I don't like to become too blindsided to a thought. I just wanted to put that out there as a bit of interesting, I've heard this side of things too.
No, it is interesting. I think the looking into that and I think I sort of studied about how mushrooms could like talk to each other through different vibrations and stuff like that, but then it's just, you just got to trust that the scientists are interpreting it as they are, or like, say, is it just frequencies? Is that natural? Is that okay? But I feel like where we are now, we kind of know that animals do feel pain. We know that slitting the throat is going to be bad, and knowing that a lot of people, if they said to them, you know, would you kill that animal yourself? They'd probably say no. Like, a lot of people say like, oh no, I won't be able to kill a deer or a pig or a sheep or a baby lamb or anything like that. And then I think that kind of asks the question of, well, if you couldn't kill it yourself, why? Why couldn't you kill that yourself? Because you've said you want to eat meat. You said you need it for your nutrition. If we are this hunter-gatherer kind of time zone of, that's what we used to do, and you know, we are the top of the food chain, as a lot of people say. Why can't you go do that then?
Do you have different layers? Say somebody that is a hunter-gatherer, do you have a nuance towards them as opposed to somebody that has no botherment and buries their head and doesn't care, they just eat their meat from a supermarket? Do you see a difference in them, or are they just killers in essence?
Yeah, still killers. One of them's just more of a coward than the other one, I guess. The other one's got the balls to do it, and the other one hasn't. The other one just wants to, pay somebody else to do it and go into the super. Because, like, you know, people say like, oh, it's what we've always done. We're hunters and stuff like that. But since when is walking into Sainsbury's picking up a packet of meat any instinct, primal instinct? What primal instinct has been activated by doing that? Nothing. And with the way that we kill them, like gas chambers, stuff like that. What's primal instinct about that? Like, if you was wrestling it with your bare hands, that's a bit more that primal energy. But in terms of that kind of that hunter as well, he's still wanting to commit murder. He's still wanting to kill that animal, even if, I think Joe Rogan said, I'm killing this animal, this deer, because it can die a horrible death by a wolf or whatever. It'll just rip it to shreds. But in that same sort of thought process, why don't we just kill all wild animals then? Because there's going to be a time where some other animal's going to kill it horrible. Let's put it out of the misery now. Let's just kill all the wild animals. So I don't feel like that could be justified when they say...
nature is mad, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But then that's like nature, and we should just leave it to it. Why should we kind of get involved with it? And I think it was... I was listening to this earlier, basically saying about how the deers and stuff, there was like overpopulated, and then people say, oh yeah, we need to kill them because there's just too many. Yet there's just always too many. Like, if there's keep killing them, like, why is there still there? And the money that they kill goes towards the animals, or goes towards this like foundation. And it's like, well, if you care about the animals, why don't you just give the money to the foundation? Why do you have to kill them? So it's just kind of them justifying killing the animal, and then by doing so, it wrecks with the ecological system, because by killing all these deers, the other animals haven't got them to eat. So then I think it was in America, like Yellowstone Park, something like that, all the wolves disappeared because they had no food to eat, because all the humans kept killing all the other deers. So then they stopped hunting in there, and then brought back, the wolves came back because they knew they had food then. So like, we're messing with that nature's way of ecological sort of pathway and cycle that it should be, without us intervening by doing it. So I don't really get hunting, because if it was a deer, someone shoots a deer, or people shoot rabbits or pigeons or whatever, it's kind of justified, and it's but if someone went to pay 10 grand and go to Africa, shoot a lion in its head, and then you had a picture of it,
that's
there'd be uproar.
That's a bit
You'd be
different.
Like, why have you just killed that lion? But then what's the difference from killing a deer? It's the exact same, isn't it? The actual killing.
The killing, apart from the utilising that of all of its aspect, like, so you're nose to tail, you're eating the whole product to feed a family. Because there's still tribes, isn't there, that are existence. People go often and live with the Hatsa tribe. Have you heard of those?
No.
And they'll go hunting with them.
Yeah.
And again, that's their tribe's biggest sort of, the hunt is everything it's about. And then it's a very sort of spiritual endeavour where they're going around, they're planning it, they go through this procedure with them, and then when they've got the animal, they take that back, there's a big celebration around it, and I think that's what they're trying to emulate, that's what they're trying to simulate, is that feeling of such an animalistic, evolutionary aspect of our nature. And when they're living in that sort of climate, I think that's what they're trying to say. Oh, that's what I'd like to be in my life. Does that make sense?
I think you kind of, I guess it kind of like justifies it again, doesn't it? But if they killed the animal and then they didn't do that celebration, it'd be interesting to see how would they feel. Would they feel guilty?
Yeah,
they'd be like, oh, I've just killed that
I
animal.
don't think the Hatsa tribe will, because again, they know that's what's going to feed the tribe for the month. Because often they're struggling, they're foraging, they're not in their optimum states, and when they get the big hunt, they utilise every part of that animal, so the liver, the lungs, they'll eat it nose to tail, but it's the biggest celebration because they know that's going to provide them for the most amount of time.
Yeah, I guess it's down to what, for them it's a necessity.
Yeah.
For us, we've got the choice. Like, we've got plenty of lentils, beans, tofu. Like, we don't have to kill an animal like they have to kill an animal. Like, we had to kill animals back in the day. Like, we had to kill each other back in the day. Like, we had humans. Like, way back in the day. Yet, if I was to say, right, Mike, I'm going to eat your arm now, you'd be like, no, bugger off. Like, do you know what I mean? But then people say, well, it's what we've always done. So why don't we just go around eating each other, because it's what we've always done. So then in terms of, eating animals, we didn't have much choice. There wasn't much lentils and grains and beans, whereas now we've got so much choice. Can we really justify killing and taking up 90% of the land in the UK by animals when it's affecting the CO2 levels and all sorts?
I'd say it's the necessity there within that tribe, but also that element where they feel it's the most nutritional benefit thing, so that's where they're extrapolating that from. That's where they find the most benefit from. That's where I shall. So that comes back to more the nutritional point then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think another aspect, what you just touched on then, was the environmental part of this. And you spoke about how damaging the meat industry is. I don't have the facts and figures and everything in front of me, so I'm not going to try and go too much down a clunky path there.
Me neither, but
I don't know enough about it. I know it is a factor, and the environment isn't in a great state from what I've seen and what I'm listening to via most podcasts and the consensus of science. A thing that I do hear a lot of, though, is the agriculture in farming plants. I can't remember what the term is, but it's where they over-farm the land to the point of they're constantly just churning up the mud, and it loses all its nutritional density because they're constantly on it. And there's a lot of animals that get killed in the byproduct of these chain harrows constantly going up and down the fields. So what's your thought on the production of fruit and veg, and how can that be bettered?
I guess the amount of land that we use for animals to be killed is way 75-80%. A lot of the land in this country is used for animals for killing them. So if we all went to a plant-based diet, I'll have to double check this, but I was on a podcast this morning, like if we all went to a plant-based diet, we would have 75% of the land in the UK available, and that's with everybody, enough land to farm for everybody eating all the plant-based food. And that's a lot of land. That could be used for reforesteries, or creating a better ecological system and helping the environment and the ozone layer and all that kind of stuff. So we're using so much land for these animals when we don't need to. We don't need to be eating as much meat as what we are. And then because of that, maybe we wouldn't have to keep turning over this soil because we have more land to do it on, and it would take up a lot less space to grow a strawberry than what it would to put a bloody cow on there. So I guess in that sense, we're if we had more land to use for the crops, for fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, then it'd be more available. So we wouldn't have to heavily rely on turning over the soil and stuff like that and all that kind of jazz. But in terms of the animals like being killed through when they crop and stuff like that, I think this is something that I didn't realise. Like when you talk about veganism, you think it's perfect. You think like you know, I mean, you've got to be perfect. And there was anyone who was at the camp out that was like, veganism is about being perfect. It's about causing the least amount of harm as possible. And then that's why I think a lot of people don't like the term vegan, because they'll always say, yeah, but you've got a leather wallet. Yeah, but you choose a leather, or you got leather in your car. Like, you're not a vegan, and try and put you down that way.
Yeah.
When really it's not about being perfect.
You're trying.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, I'm plant-based. I'm doing it for the animals. I'm having a better impact on this world than what you are eating meat. So I guess there's that element to it. That, yeah, of course there's going to be mice and little insects that get killed whilst we're cropping, but is that, you know, the animals that get killed during accidentally killed compared to the animals that are purposely killed, and far greater than what the animals that would be if they accidentally got killed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess there's that element to it as well, that we are purposely killing all these animals, loads of them, when we don't need to. Like, we literally don't even need to. Even if people just cut down to meat once a week, it'd make a massive difference to just the land and everything.
I've heard on like simple things for like avocados.
Yeah.
It takes 4 baths of water to grow an avocado.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
That's
mad.
Again, in debates, and the soy. Do you know much about the soy industry?
Yeah.
Can you enlighten on that a little?
So I think it's 80% of the soy grown is for livestock. So we're using a lot of soy, but we're growing it for the animals that we're killing. Right. So if everybody ate soy, like, wouldn't need to grow as much, because we'd have all the other foods. So when people say, yeah, well, this soy is like really bad, and you know, it's not done in a genuine way and all this kind of stuff, it's a lot of it is for livestock. Yeah. So that's what your animals are eating. Like, people think they're eating grass-fed beef, when really you're just eating an animal that's just fed off soya. His lifespan's been shortened because we need to kill it as quick as possible, and it's fed loads of antibiotics that you're then eating. Yeah. So you get all the antibiotics that the animals just ate. Yeah. And it's just like,
and plastics.
Just, yeah, exactly, from the fish.
And,
like the fish in the sea now has got that much plastic in it that all the fish have got plastic in the fish. Yeah. So it's just like, you're not eating the fish that was once very nutritionally dense. It's now full of plastics and crap. And same with like vegetables. Obviously, the pesticides you put on it, yeah, you're going to be eating those pesticides. That's why it's important that we, you know, only choose organic foods and stuff like that.
It'd be quite cool, wouldn't it, mate? Me and you being here, and then 2 nutritionists, of the other side. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you had a vegan over there and I had a meat-based person, and then we could throw out our theories and thoughts, but they could sort of help give gravitas to what we're saying. Yeah. I think that'd be really interesting, because it's making me reflective. I'm really enjoying the pursuit of this conversation, and when I go away from this, it will also make me listen in harder to the conversations that I'm listening to. I'm going to be choosing my foods wisely. We do a monthly shop now to sort of save the money, and I went to of recent. Yeah, I can say this, can't I? I think I can. It was awful. Yeah. I went and got my chicken, and it was all gone off at the time, and then I went and took it back, and there was just no bother there, and it made me feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Because all that, they were like, oh, just swap it or whatever. And then I thought, well, no, I feel a duty here, because the whole line is going to be in jeopardy. It's going to be rubbish. And then just this gone off, horrible, rotten meat. Yeah. And it was this time of, there's no care here. No. For all these boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. It's just gone off. It was blue. It was awful, man. And then that was when I went to a butcher's of recent, and we had a conversation. But there was just this element of care behind things. Yeah. They own that field there. Do you know what I mean? I know the people. And that was a stepping stone of, okay, I'm taking a conscious decision to get away from big corporate supermarkets. Yeah. There's such an uncomfortability there. I'm going to really talk about where this food has come from, what the journey has been to end up on this plate. But like you say, I think it's going to be forever evolving. It's going to be a marathon, and it's about discovery and really learning what the right approach for me and my family are.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? But it's the awareness. It's equipping yourself with, okay, that's cool. If you're going to pursue that, but this is the byproduct. This is what happens within that industry.
Yeah, so it's the mindset I think you've got to change around it, because you tell someone to go vegan, they'll just tell you to like do one or whatever. They'll just shut off from it.
Yeah.
And you won't change someone's mind. They have to change it themselves. Like I've tried loads of times to change people the mindset with martial arts, and it's only until they're ready to change themselves. And it's kind of being okay with that and letting people change. And I think that's where veganism gets that stigma and bad rep, because there are some very forceful people that do try and ram it down your throat, and then it just switches them off even more. But then it's coming from a place of passion and love, and that's why they don't think you're a horrible person for eating meat, or some of them might do.
Yeah.
But they was probably once eating meat like myself. I was a mixed grill kind of guy. Massive meat eater, and somebody telling me to go vegan, I'm like, nah, I love bacon kind of thing. And then you ask yourself, well, is my sensory pleasure greater than a life?
Yeah.
And then
that
you're
is
looking
a big question to ask.
I think you just got to ask yourself the question. Could you kill an animal yourself? If you love a dog, why don't you love a pig or a cow? They're the same thing. It's just your perception is different on it. And I think if you have something inside that just doesn't sit right with, I don't agree with all this kind of mass murdering of animals, and a baby lamb. Like you see a picture of a baby lamb, like people eat lamb. And you just think, how can that one nice little fluffy white thing be then okay for somebody to be on a plate and you're happy to tuck in because it tastes good? Like most people don't even care about the nutritional content.
Yeah.
Like most people don't care about nutritional content at all about anything. So that's why everyone's overweight.
It does matter to me because I've had such.
Of course, and it's good that those people are interested. But a lot of people just do it because that's what they've always done.
Yeah.
They feel like, well, they need to. And then when they don't see how it's killed, like I'll share stuff in my stories of pigs getting carted to be killed.
Yeah.
They have their throats slit and horrible things that you wouldn't even want to watch it, which kind of says a lot in itself. If you don't want to watch it, why not? That people just switch off. Like no one ever like messages saying, "Oh my god, that's awful." We just skim past it. I've never had one message from, and I share it, and then when I like recently, I try and think, what, people aren't bothered about it. They've switched it off out of their mind. Our country is conditioned us so much to not think that way. They just think happy families, the pigs running around, and they just get gently put to sleep. When the torturous horribleness you can't deal with, ask yourself, why can't I deal with that? So I kind of come from a place of not being so pushy and just kind of putting out facts and letting people do with what they want with it. Some will listen to it, some won't, and I've more people have messaged saying, "Oh, I've gone vegan now. Thanks for sharing." Like some
I'll be
info
sharing my
about
story
stuff
with you,
like
mate.
that.
I'm definitely going to keep on checking in with you.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool because, like I say, I want obviously more people to go vegan, but then at the same time, understand people are ready whenever they're ready. It shouldn't be something that's rushed. It does take a lot of time and stuff, but I think we all have that sort of conflict within ourselves of, I love animals. Like I love animals, yet I'm happy to eat them. So it's kind of, it doesn't add up, right? No. And then obviously the dairy industry as well, I think that's just ridiculous because, you ask somebody, you're taking a mother's milk from their calf, and then the baby calf gets taken away to be killed. So they're taking imagine if you just gave birth and someone took your kid away and say, right, we're just going to use you for your milk. It'd be uproar, wouldn't it? You'd be like, well, that's weird. Like, why'd you do that? But yet we fund that and we pay for all these animals, these cows, because obviously how does a cow get pregnant with a male cow? And they do the magic. But everyone thinks that all these cows are just in a field, and when they feel like it, that's the moment, right, they're pregnant, brilliant. But that's not how it goes. They forcefully impregnate cows, female cows, like they rape cows to impregnate them so that they can produce the milk. And then obviously this mother then has had the babies, and then her natural instinct is to look after the babies, yet they're taken away and killed. So all she's now got is left with, she's on her own, she's lonely, she's got loads of milk, that she has far too much milk because we've bred them that way. And she's hooked up to a machine that is just
that all of that
getting all the milk out. And you think, why are we drinking that?
That's terrible, and that production's terrible. I just the natural instinct, because I suppose we're the only animal alive that needs to be looked after for the first 10, 12 months of the life. I think it's a giraffe. But within the first half an hour, it's up, it's walking, and it's gone and done its thing. So this instinctive protection and looking after and nurturing isn't ingrained so much in those sort of animals, that their offspring, their young, have managed to go and protect themselves from the off. That I suppose it's very maternal inside of us, particularly females in the feminine energy, because that's what's ingrained in us, is from the 10 months of your life, longer, you've got to protect this little blob that can't do anything for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it still happens in the wild though. So if you ask the giraffe if they could speak, they say, "Oh, do you care about your baby?" They'd probably say yeah. They wouldn't say, "Nah, he'll be fine. He'll sort himself out."
I think do you know what I mean? That would be humanising it though.
Potentially,
we're putting a human understanding
I feel like
onto it.
When you see animals together and you see the mother and
I do know what you're saying. I think
the actions that these animals do to their babies show that they do care. Like they don't just.
I do agree.
Like, leave it. It's like you might see some videos where like, you know, the mother's at the front or the baby's at the
Apart
back,
from
and then
guinea pigs. Have you not seen those cretins?
No.
They eat their babies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, hamsters. It's just like, what are you doing?
See, that's mad, isn't it? That's mad.
Yeah.
So isn't that just kind of like nature? Then we should kind of just leave that alone and let that. If that's what they need to do, that's what they need to do.
That's why it's hard to humanise the animal experience and what they're feeling and going through.
It is, yeah.
But I do know exactly what you're saying in terms of showcasing it, because I've seen the fear in a dog. I've seen the joy in a dog. I've seen. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point. Because obviously we say, "Oh, we don't know what an animal's thinking. Oh, they don't feel pain." Yeah, when you've got a dog, you're like, "Oh, he wants to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks tired. Let's get him into bed. Oh, he wants his food. He's hungry." So we know what a dog thinks, but for some reason we don't know what a cow thinks or a pig thinks. Like, how does that? One minute we can tell what dogs and animals are thinking and feeling, and then all of a sudden when it comes to pigs and stuff like that, oh, they don't feel pain. Like, so we're just specialised in knowing what dogs think and feel, or do we have that ability to know what pigs and cows and everything else feel?
So domesticated, and they're by Pavlovian conditioning, they're learning all the traits and signs to showcase and tell us, this is what I need, this is what I need. Whereas more when we're going, especially down the wildlife route, they don't have that conditioning within them through human input.
Yeah, exactly.
But mate,
we're
2 hours in.
Oh really?
I'm not allowed. Wow. Do you think with your activism, you think podcasts to be a way for you, or do you know how you're going to showcase your activism more? Because I've really, I mean this, like this part of the conversation particularly.
Yeah.
It's one of those tricky conversations for me where I haven't turned into it as much, like yourself, with business. We've got so much in our lives, but it is one of those recently, the conversations we've been having, they excite me. Yeah. They make me think, oh, there's movement, there's room for discussions to be had, and even myself to take a new approach. So how are you going to show your activism? I think I'm going to create an Instagram page, and probably TikTok now, because that seems to be the thing. Dude,
no,
don't do it.
It's where the audience is, though.
I know
there's a lot of martial artists that go onto it now, because
I feel for you.
That's where it is. And
isn't the Chinese government led?
There's an interesting conspiracy about it, and how they kind of just show us all the stupid dancing things, and all the Chinese people are watching all the clever stuff.
Well, I know they've got laws where a lot of them aren't, especially the young people, they're not allowed it, and at certain times, they have a law where you can't be on TikTok at a certain time. Probably to collect our data.
Probably, yeah.
Like you're messing up the data system, the algorithm.
Yeah,
we need to know what they're up to.
I do something know that. Potentially, podcasts, like I say, I like talking.
I'd be happy to house you a space here, man. If you want to use here and bring...
That'd be cool.
Other vegans down and do that.
Take over.
Well, mate, we'll talk about that. I'd love to.
But it'd be great to do that, and just like I say, my goal at the minute is I know what it's like as a meat eater, and your perception of a vegan is you think they're all weird, and you just think they're pushy, they're in their own little world, they're not reality and kind of thing. And I want to kind of break down that stigma and say, look, you can be normal, not a weirdo.
Yeah,
a bit weird,
strong,
but like
thriving, optimal.
You can do fitness, you can run a business, you don't get all these things that are claimed, but then also just kind of not be so forceful, and just put the questions across to them and let them kind of sell themselves, kind of thing, really, and just kind of let them think and ponder and see the cogs turn and thinking, actually, that doesn't quite add up. And then if it does, it's like, right, well, we're here to help, kind of thing. Go follow this, or here's how you can transition, and just kind of be that support group that I feel like I never had when I transitioned to veganism. It was kind of do it on myself. Whereas if you had a group of people that was, obviously I'm in a lot of vegan groups now, and we all ask questions like, can you have this, or I'm feeling a bit like this, and my baby's born like in 9 months time, just like, can I have it as a vegan baby? And there's people like, yeah, my baby's been vegan since birth, she's 19 now, she's in med school, and all this kind of stuff. And obviously everyone just thinks you need calcium for a baby like after you've done breastfeeding, when it's not the case. And just breaking down these stigmas really of what it is, what it stands for, because you're coming from a good place, you're coming from a place of, you want to protect the animals. You don't want to hurt animals.
Well, that's it.
So why do people look at you and think you're a weirdo?
To
it's
me,
like, aren't you weird for killing animals?
They go, why have vegans on, or why would you talk to those? They're just so forceful. I'm like, yeah, but even with the forceful nature of it, they care.
Yeah.
Like, for a fact, it's not coming from this, I'm going to just be better than you kind of hierarchical place. It's, I really care about this life in front of me. I think that is the most of the time. People have egos and they get run away with them. But for the majority of it, it's, I'm so sure this is the right thing to do that I'm just desperate for you to change your approach.
And I think
I always get it.
It's based on facts as well, like studies. It's not just like some random people who's had an opinion and they're like, yeah, let's go with it. It's like these people there's studies on it, multiple studies on it that prove what they're saying. So it's not just, like woo-woo and just someone's had an opinion and they've got nothing to prove it. There is actually studies on it. There's facts. There's doctors out there that are vegan. There's some on the camp out. There's 3 doctors there that was doing a chat. And there's, there's what do you call it? Like I don't want to say peer-reviewed studies, but I can't remember what the thing is, where they look at loads and loads of studies and then they review all the studies by all these clever people, and they come up with conclusions about that.
I was going to say epidemiology.
I can't think what it's called now, but there's them, and so it's kind of like there is facts behind it. So if you believe in it, then you should go down that path. You should explore it, and like I say, no one's perfect.
It's becoming more widely accepted.
Like even if you could just cut down your meat consumption, definitely dairy. Like dairy just offers nothing. Like, if you've got like acne or anything like that, like cut out dairy, and I can guarantee it'll go. Like pretty confident on that as well, because
I completely agree.
It's just full of hormones and crap in the milk, and it's just wrong. Like I think dairy industry is just mental, but I
think that from some of the processed milks as well, that it's just try and get rid of
estrogen in it as well, which is funny because people are from like, eat soya, they'll say like to me like soy boy and stuff like that. Have you heard of that before?
No.
But they're like, if you eat soy, they think you get like moves and a bit more like feminine because of estrogen. But milk's got estrogen in. It's got like a lot of percentage in it. So then the one thing that they're saying that you're going to turn into is the one thing that they are by having the milk. So it's just like, I think definitely educate yourself. Go down that path, explore it. If you've got an uncomfortable feeling, go with it. Don't just try and ignore it. And if you honestly ask yourself those questions and you've got that conflict, explore it. Go down that path and don't worry what other people think by you going vegan. Like if your family turns against you, like my family, not too bad to be fair, but like my dad's definitely against veganism. And you just got to stand up for what you believe in, really.
Yeah, know yourself.
Yeah, know yourself and be okay
who
with
you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
I think that's a massive thing, man. I think we need to get you doing your podcast. I need to be your case study.
Definitely.
I'll do a podcast with you and we'll see where I'm at, and then I'll keep on checking in throughout your series, and we'll find out that I'm this enlightened grade 3 vegan.
Yes.
There's different grades to it, isn't there?
Yeah. You can go all in. We'll get you to a grade 5.
I'm just going to get the sun to light through. Is it my bum hole? Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Mate, I've really enjoyed this. I think with the knowledge that we do have and our own human experience, we've tried to give a good back and forth and a good discussion and conversation around it. And I think this is where the best growth is ever done. It's not just one person screaming at the other or just saying, no, this is my opinion. Then they don't listen and they just sit and wait for their turn.
Yeah.
I feel we've really tried to understand one another, and I appreciate that time with you.
Yeah, well, I think so. I've been being open-minded.
You have. You're well, both. Yeah, appreciate that.
That's how it should be. I think there's a lot of, like say, anger around debates and stuff. But
it's just so unnecessary, especially when it's coming from a loving place.
Yeah, man.
Where can people get in touch with you then, if they have been inspired by all this?
It's just Instagram, Facebook, even Benefit Martial Arts, Jordan Clarke. Feel free to message me, follow me. I ain't set up my page yet, but I will set up a page soon.
I've enjoyed it, honestly. It's been cool, guys. You've been a part of the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Just remember this: be nice to one another, you beautiful set of buggers. That's all you got to do. And go vegan. See you later.